Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for Biomass Magazine's 2019 Editorial Highlights and Bonus Distribution webinar, sponsored by the International Biomass Conference and Expo, which is being held in Savannah, Georgia, March 18th through 20th. First of all, happy National Bioenergy Day. I am Biomass Magazine editor Anna Simmet, and I'm here today with Marketing and Sales Director John Nelson. To start, I'll talk a little bit about Biomass Magazine. We're now in our 11th year. We cover biomass-based heat and power, waste to energy, biogas, anaerobic digestion, renewable natural gas, wood pellets, and advanced biofuels. Our magazines are published bi-monthly, and the main components include feature articles that are staff-written, contribution articles, and columns from external writers and sources, and business briefs. If you're interested in submitting a contribution article or a guest column to any particular issue, contact me anytime for more details. Typically, you need to reach out at least a month before the respective issue. So, for example, if you're interested in contributing to the March-April issue, you will want to contact me by February. I also accept business briefs through email. Business briefs are essentially snippets about a new hire or promotion, a new product or partnership. These can be sent to me anytime year-round for potential publishing in this section. So that said, I will quickly go over some of the top issues that we expect to cover in detail in 2019. First, biomass power and its potential certification as a RIN pathway under the Renewable Fuel Standard. This is something that the Biomass Power Association, which is one of our main columnists, and its members have been lobbying for, and a lot of facilities have been filing applications for pathways. This is on the basis that these facilities create energy that's used to charge electric vehicles. And this initiative seems to be gaining momentum. It could really be a game changer for the industry. If and when these organizations are permitted to participate in the program, they'll be classified in the cellulosic fuel category for D3 RINs, which the EPA has actually fallen far short of its targets. Moving on, another topic we expect to cover quite a bit is the RNG industry's continued expansion. Since biogas-based liquid fuel qualified as an advanced biofuel under the RFS, the industry has really taken off. And the Coalition for Renewable Natural Gas, which actually contributes columns periodically to our magazine, believes the industry is going to double in North America from 2015 to 2025. And it has actually experienced an average annual growth rate of about 70% since 2014. Another big topic is increasing wood pellet demand in Asia, especially due to incentives in Japan. There are many new projects in the works looking for long-term offtake agreements. Demand in Europe, which we have covered pretty extensively over the years, is expected to plateau, and the next big boom will be spurred by Asian policy and incentives. And finally, another topic we'll follow, of course, is rising oil prices and the continued build-out of the domestic modern wood heat industry in the U.S., installations of all sizes, using wood chips or pellets. There are conflicting predictions of whether oil will hit $100 barrel again, but it did just hit a 4-year high in May at $80 a barrel, which is a good thing. So those are just a few of the many important topics we'll be covering in the coming year. And again, I always welcome contribution articles, and I also welcome our readers and advertisers anytime to write us or me with story ideas. That said, before I go over the editorial calendar, I'm going to quick hand it off to John so he can discuss some circulation topics.
Thanks, Anna. Again, appreciate you going over where the market's going and kind of giving us a comprehensive overview. Definitely helps us when we're thinking of the industry and where it's going. So thank you for putting that together. First off, we're going to talk a little bit about the print circulation. So this first slide here is really each issue is kind of explaining who's receiving each print issue of Biomass Magazine. So when it goes out, we send out 7,000 copies, and those copies are going, out to 52 countries. Now, the majority of our print readership is inside the U.S., and when we get into our online presence, you'll see that starts to shift. So, if you're really looking to dial in the U.S. biomass market on a print side, this is where you want to be. Again, we do go outside the U.S., so, there are companies that are receiving our print publication outside the U.S., but when we get into the online side, you'll see that gets even greater. So each issue that goes out, each print magazine that goes out, based on third-party research that we've done surveying our readers, we see about each publication gets read about 2.3 times. And so in addition to that, we're sending a copy out to all future or existing producers that Anna and her team have identified and have kept in their records for our maps and so on. So each issue that we're sending out gets about a readership total audience of 16,000 plus. So that's where that number comes from. So if we look at the circulation side, who makes up that audience? Almost a quarter of it comes from producers of liquid solid biofuels or bioenergy. So that's really the audience that most people are going after. We also have equipment and service providers, farmers, technology engineers, consultants, and so on. And then the list starts to get relatively small. If you do want more detail on that, for sure you can reach out to one of our account managers, and they'd be more than happy to provide even more detailed information for you. So here we're going to take a look at our online presence, so biomassmagazine.com. So on the left-hand side, you can kind of see how it's laid out, how we've got all of our content, all of the articles that Anna and her team are putting together, all the original stories are being posted online. And then we also have some advertising opportunities around that. So you can see we've got leaderboards, we've got skyscrapers, medium rectangles. We also have videos on there. So there's a lot of options and a lot of activity that's happening on Biomass Magazine. We see more than 72,000 page views per month. So almost 900,000 page views per year on biomassmagazine.com. And again, these are people who are geared specifically towards the biomass industry. They're looking for news and information on the biomass industry. So, over 11 years, this has grown and grown. So we're happy to report on these numbers and show them to you today. Now, when I was talking about the print side, majority of what we saw was inside the U.S. Well, it starts to shift when you see who is visiting biomassmagazine.com on our digital platform, which makes sense. But you can see when we're looking at total visits, now these are visits per country throughout the year, you can see it starts to shift. I mean, again, the majority would technically be inside the U.S., but you do see a lot coming from India, Europe, Canada, even in Japan, some of our more in the Asian countries, we start seeing more audience being produced from those countries. So what does that mean? That would mean if you're looking to target companies outside the U.S., this is a great option for you. Take a look at some of our digital options and make sure you will be reaching basically our international audience. A couple other things that I want to showcase on here is we've got a lot of followers on Twitter. We have more than 13,000 followers on Twitter. We have almost 4,000 followers on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. And you can see we've posted our network referrals. So we're showing you the number of network referrals. So what does that mean? So if every story that Anna and her team post online, we are putting that story on Twitter. We're putting that story on Facebook. It's being looked at. It's being clicked on. And it's bringing that person, that network referral, is bringing them back to biomassmagazine.com, where they're reading that article and hopefully taking a look at your advertisement and clicking on that advertisement. So we want to just really show how we are being active on the social media side to try to drive viewership for our advertisers on our website. A couple other things that we have here is talking a little bit about our newsletter. So our newsletter goes out weekly to 24,000 plus subscribers. And this is a really cost-effective way for you as an advertiser to get in front of our audience. A lot of people ask, hey, how can I I really want to reach the audience quickly, and I want to track how many people are looking at my ad, and clicking on it. Well, this is a perfect opportunity for you to jump in at $295. You can put an ad on Biomass Week, and it goes out to 24,000 plus subscribers, and we even track who's clicking on it and report those items back to you. So again, what's driving all the clicks and all the viewership on this newsletter? It's Anna and her team. Their stories are being posted on there, and they're looking at that content and also looking at those ads that are posted. Also, we have, as you can see on the newsletter, we have videos. So the video, moving over to the video, you can become a video sponsor. So every week we are producing a video on the top stories in the biomass industry. And we now have the opportunity where you can become a sponsor of the video. So the video is being posted online on biomassmagazine.com, as well as on our e-newsletter. So you're getting a lot of impressions, you're getting a lot of viewership on those videos, and they're being posted on Google, and they're being, it's a great way to really get your name out quickly and get a lot of viewership. So I would definitely take a look at becoming a video sponsor. We've had a lot of success with that, and you'll want to contact our account managers in regards to the pricing on that. Another thing we want to point out here are webinars. So like today, we're doing a webinar. We can also do and have done many webinars for customers, and we call these custom webinars, where we can, if you've got a product or service you want to talk about, we can help put together a webinar, and it reaches our audience. We'll market it, we'll promote it, we'll make sure you're the sponsor plastered all over it, and you get to speak about your product or service. In addition to that, all the marketing that goes along with it, all the promotion, we'll also give you the attendee information on that. And we see roughly 200 to 300 people registering for those webinars. They are free, but by being a sponsor, you can really get your name out and showcase your product and service doing that as well. A couple other custom content things that we just want to briefly mention here. If you have had a story inside Biomass Magazine at any time, maybe it's not this year, maybe it was last year, or maybe it was 4 years ago, we can go back and we can create a custom reprint of that for you. So if Anna and her team have done, if you were lucky enough to have an article done on you talking about your company, or you were mentioned in a story, this is an option for you, and our account managers can walk you through this process of how we can create a custom reprint for you in a PDF format. You can use it at trade shows, but again, it adds credibility for you to say, hey, look, I was featured in Biomass Magazine. So again, it's one of those things out there that we don't talk about enough, but it is something that, a lot of people are featured in our magazine. So if you have been, definitely take a look at that. The pricing is very inexpensive, and it gives you some great marketing materials. The other thing we want to talk about are custom press releases. Now, this is brand new to this year. So one of the things that people have always come up to us and said, hey, John, we want to, can we rent out your list, or can we, your email list, or we want to promote this, we've always we don't give out our list. We don't do that. However, what we can do is, if it is newsworthy, if it's something that's showcasing a product, a service, any of those things, we can put it into our Google News feed but it has to be in a press release format. So if it is newsworthy, and we can put it in a press release format showcasing your product, your service with pictures, we can send that out to our Google News list. And so it's a great way to kind of push out your product or service again, to our email lists on our news site. So that's something that's new this year that I would definitely say check out. Contact our account managers and just ask about that, because it's a great way to get your information out to our audience. And so with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Anna and let her talk about the highlights coming up.
Thanks, John, for that great overview of our offerings. Now I'm going to briefly run over the editorial calendar and the themes. January and February, the theme is Plant Operations and Maintenance, Efficiency, and Innovation. This will really focus on ways for plant managers, owners, and operators to save time and money, from the woodyard to the back end of the process, machine maintenance, technological improvements, innovation, upgrades, automation, and the list goes on. This is for all segments we cover, of course. An example of a story we did last year was on ORCs, organic ranking cycle systems, to capture waste heat and produce power, and how they can be a great fit for some operations that have excess waste. It was a really popular article. It actually resulted in a webinar that's being held next month, sponsored by Turbodyn. Also last year, we ran articles on a biomass power plant in Kettle Falls, Washington, and a transformer upgrade that was done at the facility. And we did another one on advancements in laser cladding. There are a lot of bonus distributions for this one. As you can see, the 2019 Energy Generation Conference which has 2,600 people. The National Biodiesel Conference, 800 people. National Ethanol Conference with 1,000. The International Biomass Conference and Expo with about 900. C&D World, Value of Biogas West, and the U.S. Composting Council Conference and Trade Show. Moving on to March and April. The theme is feedstock sourcing, sizing, drying, and handling. This issue will cover everything from supply agreements to feedstock availability, to transport methods and equipment and processes to pre-treat, process, shred, grind, chip, dry, convey, and move material from it when it leaves the woods or its point of origin to when it enters the boiler, digester, or appliance. This tends to be an issue that focuses really heavily on equipment and engineering. In 2018, a couple of the stories we featured included an article on woodyard design and fuel handling systems. We also included a contribution on how to avoid and prepare for volatility in feedstock availability and pricing. Bonus distributions for this issue include the International Biomass Conference and Expo, the Waste Expo, the Value of Biogas, Argus Biomass, Heating the Midwest, and the China International Bioenergy and Biomass Utilization Summit. Moving on to May-June. The focus in this issue is project development, plant construction, and on-site energy. Developers, contractors, service and equipment providers might have a particular interest in this issue. We did combine a few of the themes from the previous years to kind of focus on the overall build-out of the industry. We'll feature projects of all sizes and various stages of development in this issue. Previous years, we've done stories about projects under construction. It's a really great opportunity for all vendors involved in projects to have a voice and get recognized. And it's important to us, again, to cover all kinds of projects, different scopes and sizes. Bonus distributions include the International Biomass Conference and Expo, Fuel Ethanol Workshop, European Biomass Conference, the PFI Annual Conference, and the North American Waste to Energy Conference. Moving on to July, August, theme boiler, genset, and turbine technology. This is a new topic to 2019. We're pretty excited about it. This issue is really going to focus on power process equipment, different combustion technologies, fluidized and fixed bed boilers, gasifiers, CHP units, ORCs, engine generators, and so on. what different brands might have to offer, right sizing and selection for certain applications, trends. We'll likely dive into controls and maintenance and new technology, for example, using drone technology for boiler inspections or thermal spray coatings. We did an article on that a few years ago, actually. Bonus distributions for this issue include the ASABE annual meeting, WasteCon, and the Asia Pacific Biomass Energy Exhibition. September and October, the theme for this issue is co-products, byproducts, and secondary markets. This is a newer theme, and we're excited about this as well. Popular last year, and this issue will focus on ways for producers to increase their bottom line through waste utilization, whether that be turning waste into energy, such as capturing and using waste heat, or turning it into power and selling it, or transforming a waste product into an asset like a biogas plant selling digestate, or it might be the wood pellet industry's expanded production of barbecue pellets or other products, a biomass gasification facility selling biochar, and opportunities that market offers. Bonus distributions for this issue are the Wood Pellet Association of Canada Conference, the Algae Biomass Summit, the USIPA Exporting Pellets Conference, and the International Biomass Congress and Expo. Finally, our November-December issue, it's themed Fire Suppression, Dust and Emissions Control, arguably one of the most important industry topics. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it includes methods, software, and equipment, regulatory issues surrounding fire and explosion suppression and mitigation, dust and emissions control. It's also encompassing of secondary issues like regulatory compliance and insurance. This last year, we ran an interesting contribution on insurance and whether the industry is overpaying, how that might be changed. We also included a really in-depth feature exploring cyclones and their application in biomass. Ran a couple columns that included deflagration, prevention, and protection, and regulations around wood and pellet stoves. Bonus distributions for this issue include the European Bioenergy Future, PowerGen, TAPI Peers, the International Bioenergy and Bioproducts Conference, and US Biogas 2019. So that about wraps up our overview of editorial themes in 2019. Again, please reach out to me directly with any questions on content or potential submissions, or any of our account managers with advertiser questions. You can reach me at asimit@bbiinternational.com, 701-738-4961. And with that, I'd like to thank our sponsor today, the International Biomass Conference and Expo, being held in Savannah, Georgia, March 18th through to the 20th. And be sure to check out our upcoming events, and definitely take advantage of a 20% savings on a full page advertisement just for attending this webinar. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a great day.